So, we do know what works, and it's actually very, very simple. And we know it works because we've done it in animals, by the way, right? Every disease that anybody can name in this room or in the Instagram land, every disease that you can name, we've eliminated in animals. 10 times that many more. We've eliminated all birth defects in animals and all of the common things that we deal with. And one of the reasons is because the animals don't really eat these bad foods. Well, some of them do. They have 4 stomachs and they can digest them. So this is the easiest thing, and I like to start here because basically more than half of what we have to offer is completely free for people. And if they did just this, if they did just the free stuff, they're going to change their lives. And a lot of people do. A lot of people just take some of this and their main problem goes away, especially if their main problem is a digestive problem. So these foods, if you get rid of these in your life, it's immediately going to, well, it will immediately start to improve your quality of life, and it will dramatically increase the length of your life if you do it with discipline. The first on the list is gluten. And the big bad boys in that is wheat, barley, rye, and oats, even if they're gluten-free oats. We don't need to go into too much detail here, but if you take a mental note or a real note of these, this will change your life. Right? And this is, we said that all disease and death is caused by a nutrient deficiency. Well, these can exacerbate this. The gluten inflames the intestines and damages the intestines. Both inflames and damages the intestines. The intestines are where nutrients are absorbed. So if you have inflammation in your intestine, everybody's heard of inflammation, right? But it doesn't make sense until we realize where does this inflammation come from? It comes from these things. And so inflammation in the intestine prevents the big nutrients from being absorbed, especially the good fats, cholesterol, omegas, fat-soluble vitamins, and some other ones as well. Oil and deep-fried food. The world doesn't know about oil. In fact, if you go into a healthy restaurant, it's going to have oil in everything. If you go to a vegan restaurant, I can't even eat there because they have oil in every single thing on the menu. Right? I say, I'll have a coffee, please. Right? Deep fried, everybody knows intuitively that deep fried food is bad. The reason is because it's oxidized oil. Oxidation is the way that things break down in nature. There's oil in every tissue in nature. It's protected from oxidation by the living shell or peel or skin. The moment we puncture that skin, it starts to oxidize. When we put it into a bottle of liquid oil, especially if it was extracted using chemicals and heat, it's all oxidized. It's the same as deep fried food. By the way, interesting thought experiment. You take a cigarette and you smoke it under a fume hood and you collect all the smoke and you press it down and you weigh it. It weighs almost nothing. 0.0000001 grams. You take one French fry and weigh it, it outweighs several cartons worth of cigarette smoke. So you can do the math on that, and that's why over 90% of the people with lung cancer never smoked in their life. Right? This is oil and this is deep fried food, stir fried food, anything, heated oil, oxidized oil. We tell people it's safe to consume oil if they press it themselves cold and consume it within 24 hours. Other than that, it's going to come with too much free radical damage, you couldn't possibly supplement your way out of it. Remember, the free radical damage, free oxygen radical, it's important to understand this. This is the reason we take antioxidants, to combat free radical damage, to neutralize free radicals in the body. And free radicals are, we create free radicals when we digest, we produce free radicals when we exercise, we breathe them in all over the place. This is a natural consequence of being alive. You can't avoid free radical damage completely. What you can do is minimize it, especially by not consuming oil and fried food, and by consuming lots of antioxidants. And that's one of the keys to longevity, by the way. All the longest lived populations, one of the factors that they have in common is they get an extremely high antioxidant count in their natural lifestyle. These other big bad boys on the list, these are there for promoting cancer as well. Processed meats with nitrates and nitrites, it's any deli meats, hams, and anything like that, you name it. You can look on the label, see if it has nitrates in it. If it's nitrite or nitrate free, and it says it's enriched with celery or something like that, I would also stay away from it because when you heat celery, it acts very similar to the nitrate. And the well-done red meat is on here as well. There's a very large study called the Harvard Nurses Health Study, which determined that there's a 462% difference in certain cancers development between women who ate their meat well done and medium rare. So I'm going to repeat that. The difference in that one major study, the Harvard Nurses Health Study, between women who ate their meat medium rare, red meat, and well done was 462%. So if they ate their meat well done, they had a 462% higher chance of getting certain cancers. It's an extreme difference, and this is because carcinogenic things are produced in well done red meat, not in stews. It has to be high temperature. This also goes for any burnt animal fat or anything charred. You burn your broccoli, it's bad for you. It's the black part that's bad for you. Next is carbonated drinks, and you notice these 4 things, these are in bold. If you stop these 4 things, your life will change. Now, carbonated drinks, both Dr. Wallach and Dr. Glidden, Dr. Wallach's other protege, they're going to be generous and say that you can consume carbonated drinks within a 1 hour window of your food. It means that don't consume carbonated drinks 1 hour before or after you eat or supplement, because it's going to get in the way of the digestion and the absorption, because carbonation lowers stomach acid. You need strong stomach acid to digest food and to absorb nutrients. So if you stop carbonated drinks altogether, you don't have to worry about it. If you drink something like cola, it's going to be even worse, but just in general, we'd say stay away from the carbonated drinks. You could extend this list to soy and corn, especially GMOs, peanuts if they're not salted or roasted, any packaged and processed food, and obviously sugar is a big bad boy. We're not supposed to consume that much sugar, and keep in mind, we need nutrients to process sugar, so when we now eat 300 or more times the amount of sugar we did 100 years ago, now we need 300 times that nutrient to process that. So it just it exacerbates a problem when we don't need to processed sugar. So stopping the bad foods is the first free thing that anybody can do to improve their life. Next, they can eat less. And I'd like to kind of go through